In this segment, we're going to cover removing the interior trim for accessibility to replace the sliding glass door. In this application, we've already removed the trim so we get accessibility for our inspection. So I'll just basically put it back in place and hold it together and show you the procedure necessary to remove it. Interior casing molding consists of just a few basic components. It's real common, used in households all over, both in door and window trim. This being the interior door casing, and it's just a 3/4 inch wide material or thick material cut to the width dimensions of the remaining space between the wall and the door, and that gives you a good smooth flat finish. And the molding just attaches to that and would be 45 at the corners, and it goes all the way around. And what you want to do is, if you've got glued miters or cocked joints, you want to take a razor knife and slice down through each one of those. Anywhere that there's cock applied, the front bead or the back, slice down through there, and that'll make it a lot easier to remove. You don't have to worry about the paint peeling or pulling off the other object as you remove it. And you're just going to get the molding off, flat bars work real good. A smaller flat bar can be a little easier to get in and work with this application in and around molding. And when it's up, you just want to gently slide it in the back. Try and find a place that's not going to be seen in case you happen to scratch material or do damage that can prevent you from doing a little extra repair or touch-up work later. And you just want to slide it in the back and slowly twist or pry, and it'll just pull right out. If they're nailed in with standard finish nails and countersunk, the chances are they'll pull out with the board. If they were put in with a nail gun, generally the nail will stay in place and the board will pull right off, because they have a very small head on them and they're very small in diameter in comparison with a standard nail that you would hammer in manually. And you just pull off each piece of trim, and remember to cut your caulk beads. Once you get the exterior trim off the door jamb, then you have accessibility to the jamb. And because of the shims used in here to get the door centered, you'll have a dead air space there, and you should be able to see where the nails are. If you can't see them, they're generally nailed through where you'll find your shims in place. And that holds the shim in place, as well as provides a firm anchor where the shim is behind it to ensure you get correct alignment. And just go each place where you see shims or a nail, pry out and slowly work the board out. And one at a time, take out your door jambs. And by slicing that caulk line, it can save you damage to the other material as well as the material you're removing. If this material is going to go back on and be reused, you want to be as gentle as possible with it. You don't want to do any damage to it you might have to repair later, or crack and split it and cause it to be replaced. A lot of times with this older molding, it's not an issue of, or the issue is trying to find a duplicate molding. If you damage one piece, you could be required to go in and replace the whole thing, the whole molding, to get some continuity, and then you're not going to have the same molding as the rest of the room, and that can cause some visual or aesthetic problems. So you want to be extremely careful, especially if you've got old molding. You may want to check on the availability of replacement material before you get going. That way you know if you got a problem, you've got a way out, or you've got to readdress the issue or go a different direction. So it's pretty basic and straightforward. Just take your time. The nails that were nailed in with a nail gun will be left hanging out. You can usually pull those out with a pair of channel locks, or if you just bend them back and forth continuously for a few minutes, they'll break right off at the head. A light tap with a hammer will countersink it. Please watch our next segment on removing interior molding, part 2.